Historically in Kenya, when you hear a story about a deputy president or a vice president being removed from office, you have to sit up and pay attention. Because this story does not come out of nowhere. This story always has a source. And usually the source is very, very powerful people. And we need to be careful here, because the initial reaction of politicians usually ends up being very misleading. When in the 80s, the then Embakasi legislator, David Mwenje, brought up the motion in parliament against the then vice president, Dr. Josephat Karanja, many KANU MPs dismissed him because Mwenje was not close to the establishment. In those days, it was rumored that Mwenje used to partake in excess of some adult beverage. So these legislators were saying he's taking too much. Apunguze dosi ya pombe. And while people are still laughing and making a joke out of the whole issue, one short month later, the vice president, Dr. Josephat Karanja, was gone, resigned. Hii ni siasa, unaendanga hivyo. Allow me to take you back even further. In 1965, when Tom Mboya started bringing up motions in parliament to reduce the powers of the vice president then, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, many political analysts were wondering, what is this man up to? Because Jaramogi Oginga Odinga had always been close, very close, to President Jomo Kenyatta. And again, just like in Mwenje's case, although Mboya was very powerful, very ambitious, he was not close to the establishment. He wasn't. And so many people dismissed it as the usual vita between Jaramogi and Mboya. Because those battles between these two politicians are the stuff of legend even today. But a handful of weeks later, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga was gone. Fast forward to 2022. The MP for Bumula constituency, Abwana Jack Wanami Wamboka, has brought up a motion to remove the deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, from office. And is not close to the establishment. Is a legislator belonging to the DAP party. That is Eugene Wamalo's outfit. Very closely affiliated to Azimio. And predictably, everybody has dismissed it. This is a big joke. Hakuna kitu hapo. Folks, the political tea leaves are reading this very differently. Indeed, this issue of Gachagua being removed from office is very deep. And that is what my show is about today. Indeed, these manenos are so deep that I will do a couple of videos, oh yes, not just one, over this issue, so that we totally understand the political dynamics at play here. Very interesting stuff. Super fascinating stuff. And so, twende kazi. In order to understand this Gachagua removal manenos, we must first answer the most important question. If we can't answer this very important question, then nothing else we do matters. Because this is the question which will guide us to the truth. And that question is simply this: where is this thing coming from? You know, in politics, it is very important to know where something is coming from. The real source. That usually solves the entire mystery. And admittedly, this is the hardest thing to do most of the times. Because when politicians engage in this kind of backroom deals and backstabbing and betrayal, which is very normal in politics all over the world, they are very careful to cover their tracks. They are very careful to ensure that nobody even guesses where it is coming from until it is too late. In 1965, everybody was sure Mboya was working alone. After all, there was a lot of tension even then between Mboya and the Jomo Kenyatta administration. And therefore people were sure this bid to finish Jaramogi Oginga Odinga could not be coming from Jomo. No way. They were sure Mboya was working alone. Kumbe, what was really happening is that Jomo was using Mboya to finish Jaramogi, who the intelligence community at the time and political thinkers had identified as a threat to the presidency of Jomo Kenyatta. And the attempt, very spirited attempt then, to ensure that the presidency would always, forever remain in Kiambu. It would not even cross anywhere near neighboring Nyeri or even Murang'a. And poor Mboya either didn't see it or thought he would weather the storm, because the whole idea was to use Mboya to finish Jaramogi, and then once Jaramogi was out of the way, kazi ya Mboya si imeisha. Therefore you also remove Mboya, who was also a threat, out of the way. Yeah, so Mboya did his job very efficiently, ruthlessly, finished Jaramogi completely politically, and then wakapiga Mboya risasi Nairobi CBD mchana saa saba. That's politics for you, Kenyan politics. When Mwenje brought up the motion to remove Josephat Karanja, Mwenje was very far from the KANU Mama and Baba establishment and the high table. In fact, most people viewed him as a rebel, and therefore they were sure this thing is not coming from anywhere. It is just Mwenje amekunywa sana kasahau. But then, the truth is, the source of removing Dr. Josephat Karanja, where this thing came from, was right inside State House. Now I need to tell you very early, this attempt to remove Rigathi Gachagua from Deputy President is coming from the same place where the thing to remove Jaramogi and where the thing to remove Josephat Karanja came from. Ndani kabisa ya State House Nairobi. Oh yes. Let me explain. I want you to cast back your mind to the time when there was controversy over who would be William Ruto's running mate. And you remember very well, Kithure Kindiki, who is now the CS Interior, was a front runner. And you will also remember that Rigathi Gachagua refused to take this lying down. and therefore it took action. There were demonstrations in Nyeri. Yeah. If Rigathi Gachagua is not Ruto's running mate, then Nyeri is out of UDA. That was the clear message to William Ruto. As Rigathi Gachagua made his way to Nairobi, for the announcement of who would be William Ruto's running mate, you will remember, let me remind you, there were demonstrations along the route to Nairobi. Pro-Rigathi Gachagua demonstrations. Organized, of course. Sponsored, of course. But they were effective. There were even rumors that were saying Rigathi Gachagua had told William Ruto, either make me your running mate ama unirudishie pesa yangu. Ile pesa yangu yote nimepeana kwa hii kampeni yako. Mimi DP ama rudisha pesa yangu. Tena haraka. Teke. My dear friends, please don't have the memory of a mosquito. That will not help you in politics. You need to have the memory of an elephant. And then I don't know if you have noticed this. It is like the UDA High Command have allowed Rigathi Gachagua to trip up, mess up in his position. They have not held his hand. They have not guided him. It is like they are cheering him on as he makes blunder after blunder. I don't know if you have noticed that. When William Ruto was Uhuru Kenyatta's deputy president, he made every effort to completely avoid a situation where he would be viewed as the deputy president for the Kalenjin nation or the Rift Valley. He was a national deputy president. Even after being removed from the high table, even after being ignored by Uhuru Kenyatta, he remained a national deputy president. What we have here today is that Rigathi Gachagua is clearly the deputy president of the Mount Kenya region. Period. Now already that is unconstitutional. It is against our constitution. You cannot be the president of Kenya or the deputy president of Kenya and fail to foster national unity, and in fact end up doing the opposite. That is contrary to the spirit and letter of our constitution. Everybody should know that. When Martha Karua was nominated to be Raila Odinga's running mate, Kenyans must have noticed the wardrobe guys, wale watu wa wardrobe, waliitwa teke wakuje. And Martha Karua changed her dressing. I'm not sure if you noticed that. But Rigathi Gachagua, akaendelea kuvaa vile amekuwa akivaa. And people are looking at him and saying, what? Huyu ndo deputy president wa Kenya? The East African powerhouse called Kenya. Hii ndo deputy president? Now, you may want to convince yourself that somebody forgot. Somebody forgot to take care of the deputy president's wardrobe. You may want to convince yourself of that, which is okay. It's a constitutional right. But of course, you will be very wrong. You will be in dreamland. Musyoka in Wonderland. Or is it Mbadha in Wonderland? Instead of Alice, In Wonderland, unaota ndoto ya mchana. Period. You know, historically, Kenyan presidents have never been able to accept a deputy or a vice president who can even say "Mwah" to them, who can even come close to challenging them. They have never. And the handlers of our presidents, right from Jomo Kenyatta through to Uhuru Kenyatta, and now William Samoei Ruto, you can be sure, will never accept a deputy president who is anywhere near being a threat to the presidency, or even outshining the president. You can't accept that. Now, to enhance the drama, Rigathi Gachagua is not asleep. He has seen what is happening, and therefore he has taken steps to defend himself. So what has he done? He has moved closer to the Mount Kenya region. He has rallied all the Mount Kenya troops right across the political divide, even those in Azimio. He has rallied them together behind himself. And of course this has been very easy. The House of Mumbi feels threatened. The House of Mumbi is in a situation whereby they feel that their future in Kenya is shaky because they are so used to being close to the center of power. The last time they were away from the center of power, very bad things happened to the community. This was during the Moi administration. Yeah. And therefore it is very easy for them to see themselves back in the Moi days, where they have an administration, where although they have a deputy president, they're not being felt, they're not being recognized. And therefore, what has happened is that the House of Mumbi has rallied together. The House of Mumbi has circled their wagons in readiness to face this challenge and this threat to the prosperity and thriving of the Agikuyu in Kenya. Now, this is an even more serious threat to the William Ruto presidency. That should be obvious. Bottom line, I have given you more than enough motive for the high table in UDA, the UDA government, to want Rigathi Gachagua gone like yesterday. There is more than enough motive for them to want that. There's more than enough motive for them to support the motion by a DAP party legislator called Jack Wanami Wamboka. Yeah. There's more than enough motive for them to support this legislator for the removal from office of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. If I can just spell it out clearly, namchana, this thing of removing Rigathi Gachagua is coming from State House. Make no mistake about it. Now the next question is, will it succeed? Well, Kenya Kwanza have the numbers in Parliament to make it succeed. However, there are complications. When you remove the Mount Kenya legislators from the sums, the sums of the total members of Parliament who will vote for the removal of Rigathi Gachagua, and those members of Parliament team up with their colleagues on the other side of the political divide, and they also team up with legislators from Azimio, yeah, who would of course want to do everything in their power to destabilize the Ruto administration, then you may not have the numbers to remove Rigathi Gachagua. Indeed, I have reason and information to believe that this is the only reason why those sponsoring this motion to remove Rigathi Gachagua have gone slow. Yeah. They're still going in the same direction, but they have slowed down their pace. Why? To stop and collect enough numbers to make this motion go through. And how are they going to do that? Mbesha. Money. In case you're still asleep, the currency in our parliament has always been and remains money. The Kenyan shilling. Yeah, that's what you need to get everything you want passed in parliament. Quickly. Haraka. Now, Rigathi Gachagua has a big disadvantage here. Yeah, something that will make this impeachment motion, if it ever sees parliament, the floor of the house, very easy to go through. Yeah, and this is the fact that he is not popular with the electorate. And you see, politicians like to be popular with the electorate. And therefore, money issues aside, it may be very easy to rally legislators, even from Azimio, to vote against Rigathi, yeah, in order to please the masses, in order to please people on the ground, yeah, of course minus those who hail from the Mount Kenya region. Although I dare add, that is also debatable, because there are those who say that there are many from the mountain who don't like their own Rigathi, okay, and would be prepared to support anybody who wants to bring him down. Why? The feeling is that he does not represent the typical Mount Kenyan, yeah, sophisticated, na tena akorada ile mbaya. Yeah, that's not the image Rigathi portrays. But there's another burning question. With Rigathi Gachagua out, it also means the support from Mount Kenya, the Mount Kenya region, on the ground, will vanish for the Ruto administration. Ruto will lose the Mount Kenya numbers. Actually, the reality is that Ruto will not lose any numbers. Indeed, there are some people who have been saying that Ruto handlers have been telling Rigathi Gachagua, your people should not demand for positions. They did not make a major contribution to Ruto being president. Oh yes, that is what the rumors have been saying. And actually, for those who have been following this channel closely, that is 100% correct. It is true. Look out for another video I'm going to do shortly that will shock you to your bones. Because the Mount Kenya numbers are a mirage at best. They don't exist. What do I mean? Look out for that video. But first, let us go a bit deeper into the game plan of State House. Yeah, what is going to happen when Rigathi Gachagua is removed? And who is going to replace Rigathi Gachagua? And why? Yeah, let's look into that in part 2 of this video. Don't miss it. Yeah, look out for it. As soon as that video is ready, there'll be a link in the description area below this video on YouTube. There'll also be a visual link on the top right hand corner at the tail end of this video. Okay, So see you there. Until then, this is Chris Kumekucha.